Hello, my name is Elizabeth Webster. I'm a counselor and art therapist with Boston Behavioral Wellness Center. Today's activity is going to address different senses. We will be painting with ice cubes. So you will need an ice cube tray and different ways to color your ice cubes. I will be using food coloring. You can also incorporate different smells and tastes because kids like to explore and get creative and curious. We have gelatin and we also have Kool-Aid. This will give different colors, different textures, different smells, different tastes. You'll also see me using painter's tape to keep my piece of paper flat on my surface. And I will also be incorporating salt. Also gives different texture, different taste, and actually different appearance to your watercolors. You'll also see me using a black Sharpie and then also a white oil pastel. These things are optional, just different ways that you can kind of explore and get creative with your child.
So the first thing I'm going to do is draw a couple things on my piece of paper just to show you ways that you can help out your child, guide and color in different objects. So one of the things that I've been seeing a lot of is rainbows and bringing color to all of our lives. So if we wanted to use something like a black Sharpie, so then that way your child kind of knows, hey, that's a rainbow and I want to paint that, it's easier to see. So for instance, I'm just going to add a few lines. It's just going to be a simple rainbow. And then I'll also show you with the white oil pastel how this will show up as well. So I'm just going to act like I'm making a cloud. You might be able to see it briefly. All right, so I have my ice cubes and I only did 4 colors. I did blue, yellow, red, which are primary colors, which also mean that you can blend them together and make other colors. I also did green as well because sometimes we like to have a little bit of help when it comes to making new colors. So for instance, I didn't have any popsicle sticks or anything in here. I'm going to get my hands dirty because I don't mind it and I'll wash my hands after. It's up to you guys based on your child and how much cleanup you want to do. So I'm going to take my ice cubes out. You can see already I'm getting a lot of color on my paper towel, which is kind of cool. So let's say, so it's Roy G. Biv, right? To make that rainbow. Ooh, they are very cold. So it is cold. And I am just going to be moving my red ice cube all over the place. We don't have orange, but red and yellow make orange. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get my yellow. Add another yellow. And green and, or yellow and blue make green. So maybe I'll play around. All right. You notice my fingers aren't getting super dyed, so this is quite pleasing probably to parents. And once again, I'm just using ones that were made from the gel icing color dye. So another thing you can do is just kind of explore and let the colors kind of mingle together. It's pretty neat. I'm gonna add some more texture to my cloud, just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about when it comes to the color resisting. I'll use blue so you can't really see it. Oh, there we go. So if these ice cubes had scents to it, and they were used with, you know, essential oils and juices and those kind of things like Kool-Aid, I mean, you'd have a pretty nice smelling painting. I also have salt, which I can add to this guy if I want. And what the salt will do is it will make little dots and pick up the color from where it is. Now, because it's watercolor, you're not going to get a really deep color originally. So you can always kind of go back over with it. But it is kind of cool. It makes you want to paint a little bit faster because your fingers are pretty cold.
So this is after I went back and added some more color. So obviously you guys don't have to make anything that looks like anything. Playing for the sake of playing and creating for the sake of creating is much more healing and therapeutic than if we're being told to make something specific. So you can definitely help and guide your child to make something if they're asking for it, but allow them to play and create for the sake of playing as well. I also wanted to show you up close kind of what the salt does, which I think is pretty cool. That kind of looks cool if you want to make anything that looks like an underwater scene, kind of looks like bubbles. But you can also notice that the oil pastel kind of is keeping the paint from getting to where you drew with it as well. I hope that this seems like an activity that you would like to try as it's getting nicer out. Fingers crossed that it gets warmer out. We can also do this outside so we don't have to worry about water and ice melting. Plus it's kind of a fun way to cool off when it's warmer out. Hope everyone stays safe and stays well. Thanks.